A new chapter begins in the Vatican. The world watches as Pope Leo XIV, the first American-born pontiff, steps into history. But who is he, and what does his election mean for the Church and the world? On May 8, 2025, the white smoke rose from the Sistine Chapel, announcing the election of a new pope. Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, now Pope Leo XIV, was chosen to lead the Catholic Church into a new era. In this video, we'll explore his inspiring journey, from his humble beginnings in Chicago to the highest office in the Church, his major achievements, and what lies ahead under his leadership. In the heart of Chicago, on a crisp September day in 1955, a boy named Robert Francis Prevost entered the world. Born into a modest American family of deep Catholic faith, Robert grew up surrounded by the bustling life of the city, yet carried a quietness and curiosity that set him apart. His family, rooted in values of hard work, kindness, and service, helped shape a heart that was drawn not just to faith, but to people. From a young age, Robert was known to be thoughtful and compassionate. While other boys his age were busy chasing dreams of sports or fame, Robert often found himself captivated by stories of the saints, especially Saint Augustine. He was deeply moved by their sacrifices and devotion. His local parish became a second home, where he served as an altar boy and found joy in helping during Mass. The solemn beauty of the Eucharist, the rhythm of liturgical life, and the simple kindness of the priests around him began to plant seeds in his soul, seeds that would one day bloom into a great calling. By his teenage years, Robert felt a tug in his heart that couldn't be ignored. It wasn't a dramatic moment of lightning and thunder. It was quiet, steady, and persistent. He began to wonder if God was calling him to serve in a special way. After much prayer and guidance from his parish priest, he made a bold decision: to join the order of St. Augustine, a community of priests and brothers known for their devotion to study, preaching, and community life. His decision wasn't met with instant applause. Like any young man choosing a path less traveled, he faced questions, doubts, and even moments of loneliness. But his commitment never wavered. Robert was sent to study theology and canon law, and his mind flourished as much as his spirit. He eventually earned degrees from prestigious institutions, including the Catholic University of Louvain in Belgium. Yet, even amid his academic achievements, he remained humble, always more interested in learning how to serve better than in gaining titles. As a young priest, he was assigned to missionary work in Peru, where he encountered a new kind of poverty, resilience, and faith. The people of Chiclayo touched his heart deeply. Their struggles became his struggles. He learned their language, lived among them, and walked alongside them. This experience would leave a lasting mark, blending his American roots with a profound understanding of Latin American life and faith. These years of service, learning, and listening helped shape the man who would one day become Pope Leo XIV. His journey wasn't about ambition. It was about answering a call, again and again, with a yes full of faith. From the streets of Chicago to the dusty paths of Peru, Robert Prevost was being prepared, not for power, but for purpose. And though he did not know it yet, his simple acts of love and leadership were writing the early chapters of a remarkable destiny. When Father Robert Prevost stepped onto Peruvian soil in the late 1980s, he was far from home, yet somehow exactly where he was meant to be. Sent as a missionary of the Order of St. Augustine, he arrived in Chiclayo, a sun-drenched coastal city in northern Peru, known more for its ancient ruins and vibrant culture than for comfortable living. But Robert didn't come looking for comfort. He came to serve. At first, it was the language that challenged him. Spanish was not his mother tongue, but he immersed himself in it with humility and persistence. Before long, he was preaching homilies, leading youth groups, and visiting homes across Chiclayo's dusty neighborhoods. He walked on foot, ate what the people ate, and sat in their circles, not as a foreigner, but as a brother. The people of Chiclayo saw in him a rare kind of priest, one who listened more than he spoke, who worked tirelessly for justice, and who wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. He launched educational programs, strengthened local parishes, and advocated for the poor. His leadership was so trusted that the Vatican appointed him Bishop of Chiclayo in 2015. It was a role he accepted not as a promotion, but as a deeper responsibility. As bishop, Robert Prevost continued to shine. He reformed diocesan structures, promoted vocations, and prioritized transparency. He became known not only for his pastoral warmth, but for his quiet strength in confronting issues such as corruption, neglect of the marginalized, and the need for unity among clergy. He wasn't flashy, but he was firm, faithful, and deeply respected. His gifts didn't go unnoticed by Rome. In 2020, Pope Francis called him to the Vatican to serve in one of the most powerful departments of the Church, the Dicastery for Bishops. This office is responsible for choosing new bishops around the world, a task that requires sharp judgment, spiritual discernment, and a deep understanding of global church needs. Bishop Prevost, with his feet firmly planted in both North and South America, became a bridge builder in this role. In 2023, Pope Francis appointed him as prefect of the Dicastery for Bishops, one of the highest-ranking positions in the Curia. He became the first American-born priest to hold that role. His influence quietly grew as he championed a new kind of leadership, one that prioritized pastoral care, humility, and closeness to the people. Under his watch, bishop candidates were chosen not for status, but for their heart, their service, and their fidelity to the gospel. Through it all, Robert Prevost never lost touch with his missionary soul. Whether in the slums of Chiclayo or the corridors of the Vatican, he remained the same servant-hearted priest who once walked dusty roads with a Bible in hand. These experiences and achievements, rooted in love and service, paved the way for his election as Pope Leo XIV, God's shepherd for a new generation. The world held its breath on May 8, 2025. All eyes were on the Vatican as black smoke gave way to white above the Sistine Chapel, signaling that the cardinals had made their decision. A new pope had been chosen. The bells of St. Peter's Basilica rang joyfully as thousands of pilgrims and viewers around the globe waited to see who would step onto the balcony as the next leader of the Catholic Church. Inside the Sistine Chapel, 120 cardinal electors had gathered in deep prayer and discernment. The papal conclave, a sacred and secretive process, had been underway following the death of Pope Francis. The cardinals, drawn from all corners of the world, carried with them the hopes and needs of a modern church, one longing for unity, transparency, and renewal. From the first ballots, one name began to surface repeatedly: Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, the American-born prefect of the Dicastery for Bishops. Though not a household name to the public, within church leadership, he was deeply respected. Known for his humility, pastoral wisdom, and international experience, from Chicago to Peru to Rome, he was seen as a bridge between continents and cultures. The cardinals recognized his quiet strength. He was not a man of grand speeches or political maneuvering. Rather, he was a shepherd, calm, discerning, and deeply rooted in service. Many saw in him the kind of leader the church needed, someone who could uphold tradition while listening to the cries of the faithful in today's fast-changing world. By the third day of the conclave, momentum had grown. His background as a missionary, bishop, and trusted Vatican official made him a rare blend of grassroots experience and administrative skill. On the fifth ballot, a clear consensus emerged. The votes were cast. Cardinal Prevost had been chosen. As is tradition, he was asked the solemn question, "Do you accept your canonical election as Supreme Pontiff?" After a moment of prayerful silence, he replied with a humble yes. Then came the next question. By what name shall you be called? He answered, Leo, Leo XIV. The election of Pope. Leo XIV marks a powerful turning point for the Catholic Church, a moment filled with hope, renewal, and unity. As the world watched the white smoke rise over the Vatican on May 8, 2025, many hearts were lifted. With the announcement of Cardinal Robert Prevost as the new pope, people everywhere felt something new in the air. A quiet strength, a humble heart, and a servant leader ready to guide the Church through the challenges of today. Pope Leo XIV is not a man of fame or grandeur. He is a missionary at heart, shaped by years of walking beside the poor in Peru, listening to people's struggles, and leading with gentleness and wisdom. His election sends a clear message. The Church is choosing a path of compassion, closeness, and healing. At a time when many feel distant from faith or wounded by past failures, Pope Leo's style of leadership brings people back to the heart of the gospel: love, mercy, and service.